Huge congratulations to the new daddy in the house.
Papa David.
I'm so happy for him.
I was going to say happy birthday. Well, happy birthday to his son. Okay.
Happy brand new birthday.
It is 2 minutes after 2. This is the Beat 99.9 FM. Tools and Nadine holding down the midday show.
What's that?
However, we are not alone in the studio.
Welcome.
We have got a very special somebody. He is the host, amongst hosting many, many things. You probably know him best for hosting Big Brother Naija. We have Ebuka in the building.
What's up?
Are you good?
I'm great, actually.
Are you nervous?
It's not raining today, so I feel like it's a good day.
It was very, very hot.
Better this sea. Let this one that's falling dry. Everywhere is just
be honest,
sad and
yesterday
flooded.
was actually mad. Yesterday's
one was crazy, and I'm just tired of it.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
We need a break.
Okay.
Yes, I'm good. How you guys
All
doing?
right. We're good.
We're chilling.
So you're not nervous anymore, are you?
No, I'm fine.
All right. So I need you to do something.
Go on.
Can you hold up your right hand? Just hold up your right hand.
So you do this every time.
And repeat after me. I, Ebuka,
Hi, Ebuka.
promise to answer
Promise to answer
all of Tools and Nadine's questions
all of Tools and Nadine's questions
in the most honest way
In the most honest way.
and not being too professional.
I'm being very professional. Hello.
Not being too PC.
Okay, I'll try. To not be too busy.
And I will also
I feel like he's about to go left.
attempt to survive the dragging.
I mean, I've survived a lot of dragging, so I'm sure I'll survive this one.
All right, so help me God.
So help me, Chineke.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so this was Pepedem.
Yes, it was.
This was Pepedem.
What a
and
season.
Yeah. It started off to a bit of a slow start.
Yeah.
And then, like, the last few weeks were just crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So first things first. Oh my gosh, I have a lot of questions I need to ask you. First things first, let's say, how did you think this season went?
I thought it was great. I also thought a lot of people were very impatient with the housemates. And this happens every season. And when a new season starts, you're going to see it happen again. Because what happens is a new season starts, because the people are still so hooked on the previous housemates, there's a lot of comparisons. And most seasons end on a high. And it's almost impossible to start a new season on a high because these are completely new faces again. So it's like, oh, where's the Mike now? Oh, where's Tasha? Oh, where's Mercy? People still try to compare to them.
Yeah.
So I think that was what happened when this season started. They were looking for their favorites from the last season in the new housemates. Also, it was the first time we had like a large diaspora community in the house. So the accents were like, who are these ones?
Yeah.
Hey, we're Nigerians.
So
But people caught on eventually because that was the whole idea. These are Nigerians as well, whether we like it or not.
So there were a lot of comments about people like Mike, people like
It was
Kathy.
Mike, Kathy, and
yeah.
EK. They were the three of them.
So I remember the guy that does my nails.
And Avala
he is,
fourth, that's
yes,
right.
he is actually like a Big Brother stan.
Yeah.
He watches and every time, like if he comes over on a Sunday, he's like, "Oh, Auntie Tony, can we put on?" And I'm like, fine. So he was very upset because he said that all these, in his words, all the people they put in the house this time are big boys and big girls. And he said, all they do is eat. All they do is eat. And so he felt like the people that were in the house, they didn't need to be in the house because this wasn't like, they weren't hustling. They didn't need the money, basically.
But that wasn't completely true. But then again, I think because a lot of people unfortunately associate accents with, sort of success and prosperity, that was where the first impression came from. Secondly, I think from the organizer's perspective, I mean, I'm not always a part of the auditions. I'm never actually a part of the auditions, actually. But I know the intention is always to go as far away from the previous season as you can. And I know that this time, one of the ways they wanted to do that was by getting a diaspora community involved like they never have before. So there's a huge Nigerian diaspora. People who live in America, South Africa, the UK.
Yeah.
There's that community of Nigerians that we've never really explored. And it was the best way to go away from the last season. They went there. I mean, Omashala lives in South Africa. Mike, Kathy, Avala had lived there for a bit, but she's also, I think, mostly American. So there were 5 people in the house who were not necessarily fully, had ever lived long enough in Nigeria. And that was the whole intention. The idea that a lot of them were doing well, I mean, most of them were doing okay. Some of them were starting off careers in entertainment. But I don't know that anybody was rich
balling.
or balling anywhere. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting people who have a foot in entertainment already, so that when they come out of the house, they have a pathway to go down.
Yeah.
There was a picture of, I think, Mike was standing by a Rolls Royce, and they concluded it was his car, but it wasn't.
It was a photo shoot. So the
Yeah.
question, I'm sure you get this question a lot. I'm sure there's so many people that approach you because they think you have some kind of influence in who goes in the house. I mean, just like recently I sent you a message that somebody sent to me. This lady's like, oh, please, I know this is before the, finale. And she's like, I know, the show is still going on, but please, can you speak to Uncle Ebuka for me? So he can help me. And I was like, to my knowledge, even if I wanted to be in the house, it's not like a guaranteed, I'd still need to follow the due processes. So tell me, I'm sure you've had lots of people approach you. What have been like some of your craziest encounters?
Well, I've gotten really good. As soon as the finale happened, the Sunday, October 6th, the next morning I woke up to about 7 DMs already saying, bros, please, next one, what can I do? Anything. People are offering money, people are offering sex. I got a very interesting one. A lady said she was pregnant, and don't I think it would be interesting for her to give birth in the house? Imagine her being a pregnant housemate and giving birth. Imagine the drama. I'm like, I'm not sure that's particularly interesting. I don't know if people want to watch that, but so people have. Gosh. I got a request from someone who was in her 50s. I actually liked her message. So she's in her 50s. She's a widow, and she said, "Oh, people over 50 also want to find love. Now, what about getting a big brother for over 50s who are single?" I'm like, okay, I don't know how many people want to watch that. I mean, but that sounded like an interesting angle. But we've never had anybody that old in the house. Yeah. So there's a lot of people who, and it cuts across ages.
Is there an age limit?
No, it's just over 21.
Okay.
Anybody over 21 can make it. So if you watch a lot of Big Brothers outside Nigeria, in the UK, in America, you had people who were like in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah, it's a wide mix.
Yeah, who were in the house. In Nigeria, I don't know how it would work out. Okay. Because there's that respect thing, and you don't want a 22-year-old telling a 50 because you feel the task. It's because of you we lost. And how that would play out. So I don't know. But you never know.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it would be quite interesting. Speaking of love, there are a few couples, there are a few people that found love this season. So we have, of course, my favorites, Mercy and Ike.
Yes.
They found love. Also, Agadoni and Kafi, are they still together?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's happening now that they're out of the house. I don't know.
People are trying to say that I did something. I was not even. No.
I've seen those tweets. You crushed Agadoni.
I did not. I think it's because, a few women can relate. When you're in a situation where like you're more into him than he is into you. So sometimes, if I was in that situation, when I was in that situation actually, I would have loved it if somebody said, wake up. So this is what's going on. Okay, so did you have any, first of all, yes, a lot of people have been asking, who was your favorite housemate? And don't give me that answer.
I always tell you.
Don't give me that answer.
To be honest, I always look at the housemates as much as I can't say I don't have a favorite housemate, but most times I look at my favorites from a content perspective. Okay. And that's because I want the show to do well. And I'm not going to look at someone who, he looks like a nice guy or a nice girl, but they are just dead in the house. So for most times I look at the housemates from a content perspective. The top 5 were great. And I think this is one of the best top 5s we've ever had. Virtually everybody in the top 5 gave us a show at some point. Fraud was amazing throughout the season. He was the biggest surprise to get to the final. Omashala talked his way to the final. Shady was good. Mike was good. Mercy was good. Tasha was great content. Unfortunately, she didn't make it to the final. But these are people who gave us a show in different ways. So I liked a lot of people. I liked Isilomo. I thought she left too early.
Okay.
I thought she would have given us a good show. Unfortunately, she didn't even get to be voted out because the first week was the crazy drama. I also thought Kimopra left early. I don't know what she would have brought, but I think she played her cards too early, which was why she was voted out. Yeah. I mean, she kind of played the villain, but she played it too early. And the viewers were like,
Too much.
So there's people who...
See, I know Ebuka quite well.
Yeah.
And Ebuka is also a lawyer. And... If you were listening carefully, you know that Ebuka hasn't really answered my question. Because
I didn't have one favorite.
Okay, so content-wise, who was your favorite?
Content-wise?
Yeah.
I liked Fraud.
Okay.
Fraud evolved a lot. Because Fraud started off as the emotional guy who was soft.
Didn't he cry a lot?
And cried a lot at the start. And by day 2, he had cried and it was already a meme. On the second or third day.
Yes.
And then I think week 3 or 4, he won head of house and became this authoritarian. We're like, who is this guy? Then he also now became this guy who liked Esther. But so there were so many parts to him. Virtually most of the housemates couldn't stand him, but he was there.
I was so surprised that he made it that far. Like, if I'm going to be honest, I was like, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
So so that was your favorite content-wise? Your favorite?
He was one of my favorites content-wise, but yeah, he was really good, yeah.
So in terms of your favorite, as in, you know, the person that you probably, you know, could see yourself hanging out with.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know, but let me just...
Well, there's a couple of them.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, Isilomo. I've actually hung out with her about a couple of times, and she's just fun. She's someone you can have a great conversation with. Mike, of course, is someone who's really cool, smart dude. Shay, I've not gotten to hang out with him yet, but I really like him as well.
Okay.
Those three come to mind now with you guys. Jeff.
Okay.
I also think Jeff is really cool.
Yeah, Jeff is really interesting.
Yeah.
Who was your least favorite?
I have a couple who I didn't really like, but I can't mention their names, unfortunately. But these are people who, because I always get their profiles before they get into the house, right? I see their profiles, I know what they are coming into the house to do, or what they were picked for. And there were two people in that house who were supposed to be amazing content on that show, but they came in and fell very flat because of, I don't know if they got intimidated by the other housemates or by the cameras. I don't know what it was, but they came into the house and it was just a disaster. And
I know who one of them is.
Who is that? You be very sure before you mention the name.
I know who
because my hand is not there.
So basically, actually, let me read out some questions because
Okay.
we've had quite a few questions about, you know, Tacha.
Okay.
And okay, this is from Oyiza. So some people have hit me up on Instagram, and Oyiza says, "Why was he so harsh and aggressive when he was talking to Tacha?
Wow.
Why was he always sounding harsh and aggressive when he talks to Tacha in the house?"
I don't think that's true, and I'm being very honest. So now this season was called Pepperdem, right? And it was called that for a reason, and we're going to flip the script on everybody. This is the first season where we called out housemates for conversations they had in private. It had never happened in any season before. So Tools and Nadine gossip on Sunday. I'm like, so Tools, what was that thing you told Nadine in front of everybody?
Yeah.
That was the whole idea this season. I think I was hardest on Fraud, on Jackie. I called Jackie out on a conversation she had about a dream that wasn't even relevant to the show. But I did that because I wanted to stir things up. I did that with Mike. Mike had a conversation with a group of people. I mean, Tasha was there, Sardi was there, Elos and Am was there, and they talked about Fraud. But it was Mike I called out to talk about it. So it wasn't a Tasha thing. I think what made Tasha's thing a thing was, first of all, the fans. Her fans are very passionate, right? So it was hard to not to have a conversation with her and not have the sort of response I would get.
Yeah.
And also, secondly, Tasha never really answered my questions.
She even got penalized one time, I think,
Yeah,
for being rude to you.
yeah.
So,
And the funny thing is, when she was rude to me, I didn't even pick it up. Interestingly, but I mean, the cameras are always, the microphone's always on, so the production team heard it. I think I asked her a question and I said why, and she said because why has a long tail and two branches.
did that irritate you?
When I heard it later on, I mean, it had happened, but I was a little ticked off by it because I'm like,
What about
why would you do that? But she apologized and that was fine. No, the Tasha, that was fun for me, to be honest. Because, okay, so that day was, I hadn't talked to Tasha before until since the show had started. And she had gone on a lot about how she was going to be there to the end of the season and all of that. Which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that kind of a strategy with being very confident. And I thought it was interesting. So my coming that day to ask her, you say you know a lot about, you know, what it takes to get to the end. What are the characteristics of a winner? It was honestly going to end with her saying, okay, it's this. And I'm like, okay, which of these characteristics do you have? She would have answered, hopefully, and honestly, that would have been the end of that. Because I just wanted her to know, okay, we're watching you to see if this day 99 thing you talk about is really going to happen and if you possess those qualities. It wasn't anything combative. But like I said, because she never really answers the questions, it always looked like it was a combat.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it always looked like you were...
It always looked like, like I was attacking. But I did that to everybody. I did that to Sardi. Like I called everybody out on the season. But with her, it became a thing because she never really answered.
It seems like a lot of people start to think that to win Big Brother, you have to come in with that combative persona.
Yeah.
Do you think what do you think is the actual strategy to winning Big Brother? Is there even a strategy at all?
Well, as we can see, there's none. Our three winners have all been completely different. I always say Miracle might not have won it this season if he was in the house. Mercy might not have won last season if she was in that house. So every season is different. There's no way to win the season. You know what I'm saying? You can have a strategy to stay long enough, but even that is not guaranteed, because how do you know you're interesting outside the house? You think you're being very manipulative, but are people liking it? You don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's strategy. About people being combative, I don't know if combative is the word, but people think maybe controversy or being talked about, you have to stir things up. And I can see why, because it's a reality show. And you want to be noticed. There was 26 housemates this season.
Yeah.
That is a lot of people.
My thing is this. Okay, so somebody actually, I'm looking for their name now, but somebody here has asked, is it true that this is going to be the last Big Brother?
I have no idea. But I tell you this thing to every year. When the season ends, there's no talk about the new season yet, because there's a lot of post-production that happens. They have to wrap up. Budget is very important. How much did they make at the end of the day? Did any money lost?
I think they made a lot.
So there's a lot of that happening now. Then when they do all that, then they decide to announce if there will be another one or not.
Yeah.
But in my head, there's a house in Nigeria now, finally, which I think is a big highlight of this season.
Why does it move from SA?
I think we deserve a round.
Yes, you do. Although I did want to tour Ebuka and I never got that tour.
Unfortunately.
It's okay.
But I think it's a huge deal, because the infrastructure that it takes to run Big Brother.
How do they do that? Gen 24/7.
You know, when they said I was going to move to Lagos, I was the most nervous person in the world.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we going to do this? They pulled the house off, pulled production off, and ran this show for 24 hours without any major hitch. And of course, generators were on throughout. You can't even take any chances. You know, but the fact that, there were hitches here and there, but it wasn't anything crazy that made the show.
What kind of hitches? Because I don't think we saw any of this.
But the technical issues.
Okay.
You can't do it. If you do a live show for 1 hour, you know what happens. Not to talk of for 3 months, 24 hours. There are going to be a few hitches here and there. But it wasn't anything crazy, and I think that was amazing.
Was it more expensive having the house here, or was it more expensive having the house?
I honestly don't know, because I don't know the entire budget and how it works. But I know one of the reasons why it was always held in SA was because of cost to build here. So thinking about it, maybe going forward it might be cheaper, because now the infrastructure is set. But this season, where the infrastructure was built, was probably more expensive than anything, because building the house and all of the technicalities with the cameras and must have been crazy expensive. I don't know what was more expensive, but maybe next season, if there's one, since the house is done, they're not spending on infrastructure anymore. It probably will be cheaper now, maybe.
Okay. So there were a few people, a few public figures that commented on Big Brother and talked about. Let me just go straight to it. Basket Mouth, for example. He had said that he would have been very, very depressed if Thatcher won. And there was another article that kind of went through the last 3 seasons, and they were just talking about the fact that people that are seemingly toxic or quite controversial or combative or whatever you want to call them seem to be the ones that have interesting fan bases. So the person, I can't remember the person that wrote the name of the person that wrote the article, but they listed out it was T-Boz, then CC, and then this one Thatcher. So I guess along those lines, that's probably why Basket Mouth said that he would have been depressed if Thatcher won. So what are your thoughts on that?
I honestly, it's a reality show, right? And I think I say this every time I come here. You have to have a mix of personalities, right? And whether you like it or not, you have people. You can't put 30 people in a house or 20 people in a house who are just nice and cute and just chilling. Now, I don't know what Tasha's game plan was, if she set out to be anything, right? But I think for the most part, she was herself, to be honest. I think to a large extent. She might have played a few things up, I don't know. But I don't know that you act that long for 3 months. It was 3 months. You understand what I'm saying? But she said repeatedly in the house that she's not used to being around people, that she's a loner. And there's a reason why she's a loner, because she doesn't do very well around people. So I guess that was what came out a lot, because she had to share that space with all of these people. And she wasn't sure how to react to it. With regards to how people took it, the fact is, because it's a reality show, and that's why Big Brother is so popular, because everybody finds someone in the house that they can relate with. I'm sure you did, because there's so many individuals in the house. I don't know why those people seem to be popular, but it is a reflection of society after all. So there has to be some positive there, which is, this is who we are. And we have to just deal with it. I don't know that it's, well, if it's good or bad, I can't say. There's a huge demographic that identifies with her, or identified with her, and we just have to live with it. And I don't think it's a bad thing per se.
Do you think?
Because the reality show, she didn't kill anybody. To be honest.
Do you think, with everything that was going on, online, with the fact that, like I said, you had lots of people, speaking about it, do you think there would have been a lot of negative publicity for the show if she had won?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because she's a very polarizing housemate, which is what those kind of people would be. So with Tasha, you either really loved her or you really didn't like her. There was no middle ground with her. You had a lot of other housemates where you're like, oh, I don't mind if he wins. If he wins or if she wins. But with Tasha, it was either this or this. So with her winning, it was going to be both as well. There were going to be people who were going to be excited. Then there was going to be another half who would be just like,
angry.
What happened here?
Yeah.
It's like when you watch all of these reality shows in America, you have those characters who are very polarizing.
Yeah.
And they're usually the most popular.
Yeah.
So she's just a polarizing character, and her winning, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know, but I feel like it would have just been both ways. Extreme joy and extreme sort of like, what the hell happened? And we would have just had learned to deal with it. I don't know. But it is what it is.
Let's talk about fan bases, because
Yeah.
one of the things that we've realized in the last few years of Big Brother is that there's some contestants that have they have like a fan base that are really cool, and there's some people that have fan bases that are scary.
Yeah.
So is it true that you've received death threats since you started this show?
Oh yeah, I've received a lot of threats. And interestingly, I've received it from a lot of different fans.
Really?
Yes. So I've received death threats. My wife has received death threats. My kids.
Hey!
Based on what?
My kids, yeah, my kids. My daughter is almost 3 and the other one is 6 months. They received death threats. People have said they're going to die.
Oh my gosh.
Someone said
On
my
top
wife
of
is
the
going
show.
to catch HIV and die. I don't know where she's supposed to catch it from. So, and this is not from, I can think off the top of my head about 7 different people, 7 different fan bases who sent that. I mean, there was a time I asked Sadi a question and his fans came for me and my family. Same thing happened with Jackie, with Tasha, with Mike, with Mercy. I mean, so it wasn't one person. That's why I talk about the passion the fans have. So
does this upset you?
With me, not really. If it's me, I'm fine with it because I get ready every season. I know what's going to happen. And with this season in particular, I was very ready because I knew what we were trying to achieve with regards to stirring things up in the house. So I was going to be in the firing line because Ebuka, this week, we want this to happen. And Sunday will set the tone for what happens this week. So I throw things in the house and I leave. And the fans never really get it. And they come for me. So I was ready for it.
Producers that decide this, and you.
That's what people don't know. People are so controlled. I mean, it's a very controlled space. I can't just go in there and be like, haha, I can't. A lot of things are done with a team. And it's not, I mean, I put out a picture of the team from Big Brother and people were shouting on Twitter, these many people. Yeah, it's about 300 people who work on that project.
Wow.
It's not a small production. So yeah, with me I'm fine, but when they come for my wife and my kids, that I really can never handle because these people are not a part of this show. Leave them out of it. Come for me, I did a job, and I can take it for the most part, So most times I stay off social media. I don't see a lot of those things because I know what's gonna happen. So I do the Sunday show. Monday, Tuesday, I'm like, la in my room. And then Wednesday, I probably can go back on social media. Yeah, but I mean, I got a lot of hate from a lot of fans.
Does it bother your wife?
Yes. I mean, because she's just like, I'm not getting paid for this thing. Why are they dragging him into it? So she just says that they better put me on the salary. I'm like, unfortunately, no. But yeah, she doesn't, because she's like, I'm a fan as well, which is the honest truth. She likes the show. She watches the show as a fan. Why do they have to drag me into? And sometimes there's even fans of someone she likes who attack her. And she's just like, but I like this person.
What did I do?
Yeah.
But is it something, so you don't take it seriously, you don't feel like...
Like I said, with me, I know it fizzles out. When the season ends, everybody sort of takes a breath and moves on. Most of them do. Some of them still go on even when the show ends. But most times, I know it's the passion of the week, or because the same people who abused me this week, next week, they're like, oh, Ebuka, thank you. You were so sweet this week.
Oh my gosh.
Same people, and I'm just like so... It's both ways. So when it's on, I know it's just for the game, and I know the passion. But like I said, what just gets to me is my family. Like, leave them out of it. I can
Why do you think Big Brother draws such passion and such anger from people?
Like I say, it's simple. Everybody can relate to it. There's somebody for everybody in the house.
Yeah.
So when you watch, you identify with someone. With Nigeria, it could be tribe. It could be religion. It could just be, oh, this girl's story sort of reflects my life. There's always somebody you see there like, this looks like my story or my person, and you identify strongly with the person. And then when it becomes this person might leave this week, no, that means I'm not going to see them again. So that's where the passion now comes from. And then the fan war starts. And so I think it's mostly just identifying with someone there is what makes the passion that strong.
Okay. All right, we have got more questions for Ebuka. We are going to take a quick break. If you would like to ask him a question, feel free. And Burner Boy, that was Simmer. I love that song. It is 2:34. We still have Ebuka in the building.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know what your English name is.
I actually don't have one.
Really?
Yeah, I was baptized Chukwebuka, which is the weirdest thing, and I'm Catholic, so I don't know how my parents did that, and it worked. But I have another Igbo name, which I never talk about.
What is it?
Nope.
Share now. I can tell you mine.
You can tell
You
me yours,
laughed
but
at
I won't
me
tell you mine.
So if you could pick like an English name for yourself, what would it be?
I've actually never thought about it. But it has to be something that will bring money. I don't know. Is there a name that
Like
attracts wealth?
Obegeli, something like that. I was born to enjoy.
I don't know, something that shall bring money.
Yeah.
No, actually.
Yeah.
Do they have English names like that?
There was some I used to like Charles, but I don't know how I feel about it anymore. I like very traditional, like English, Henry, Charles, those sort of names.
Thank you. Can you tell your friend that, please?
Why?
I wanted to name our son Benedict because I thought that was very nice.
Yeah,
And he
well,
was
old.
like, no.
How old is he already? I was born 45.
Did you get it? Wouldn't work in
Yes,
school.
Benedict. Very,
We're not
very,
working
you know,
school
regal,
settings.
distinguished. Okay, back to the questions because we have so many questions. Somebody here wants to know if you felt that Thatcher's disqualification was fair.
Once again, I don't make these decisions, but yes, violence is violence. And to the best of my knowledge, from when I know that the reviews with the teams and the production and all of that was going on, as at the point she shoved and pushed Mercy, I think that was when it was done. Even before the hair pulling happened. I'm talking by the kitchen. You know, this fight started by the kitchen. People that called them into the diary room, I believe,
And
for
then
both of them to
after
sort of
that.
simmer down.
And she followed. Tasha followed.
No, Tasha was called in first
Okay.
to the diary room.
No, as afterwards she followed.
Yes, so
Mercy.
Tasha was called in
Yeah.
and she came out, and Mercy was called and she came out, and the fights got even worse at
Yeah.
that point. So I think by the time the shoving happened, because you don't put your hands on anybody, so way before the hair was pulled, even there was already contact. And I think that was where. So yeah, I mean, with violence like that, it's very hard to say because Big Brother is very clear. If you allow a shove and a push, tomorrow it becomes a punch. So yeah probably that.
Okay. But some people felt like both of them should have been.
Yeah, I've seen those conversations, but the truth is, I don't know. Like I said, I don't make these decisions. But off the top of my head, what Mercy did was flip her hair, which you could say is contact. But there's also the other side to it. Like, was it intentional? I don't know. Was it physically going to harm her? I don't know. So I don't know what the reason was for not disqualifying Mercy as well. I mean, she got 2 strikes. I guess that was what they felt the weight of what she did carried. So I don't know.
There was a question that I saw that I found very interesting, and somebody asked this: when are you going to admit that you are in collusion with the government to distract the news with BBNaija? Because if you know what, obviously.
But I mean, someone in government kept saying that the show needs to be banned.
Yes, there's so many
I
of
mean, not
them.
to mention his name, but he said, this show is. So I don't know that I don't know what government thinks about the show, but I mean, I'm sure it's not great. Maybe.
because okay, let's be honest, right? One of the issues that I kind of had was when it came to voting in February during the elections. I mean, the turnout, especially with amongst young people, wasn't massive. But when it came to Big Brother auditions, everybody. So you are interested in politics as well. So how does it make you feel when you have that situation? Obviously, Big Brother bringing you money and everything, great. But how does it make you feel when you see the election time? You see that a lot of young people don't come out and vote for Big Brother. Everybody was
so
just like
passionate
trying to kill themselves to audition.
Someone said maybe we should put the candidates in the house next to election.
That's what people were saying.
And vote for them from there.
I think we
maybe
would
that
have
would
a
work.
better idea of
Yeah.
who
No,
we're
it's
voting
true.
for. But how do you feel about that?
I don't know. Entertainment is massive, right? And young people get drawn to what they're going to get drawn to. Everywhere in the world, there's apathy with young people. It's not just a Nigerian thing. In America, since Obama left, I don't know that the elections have been the same with young people. The UK is the same thing. I think a few people came out for Brexit. After that, nobody really cares for elections. So apathy with young people is something that should be just looked at globally. And I think it has a lot to do with politics and politicians and just the disconnect young people have with governance generally. So I don't know. There has to be, I don't know, maybe a different movement with politicians and how they speak to young people, how they connect with young people. I think there's just young people don't feel connected enough to politicians is what it is. And which is why Big Brother, because people feel connected to the housemates.
Yeah.
So there has to be a way for politicians to re-strategize, how they campaign maybe with young people.
Do you also feel that perhaps people, particularly young people in this country, feel that they have some kind of say in what goes on with
so there's people who say that as well. They feel like with government elections, we don't know what's gonna happen after we vote. Are we sure it's 100%? But there's some sort of faith with regards to Big Brother votes. So I don't know whether that also plays in where that okay, I vote and I know that whatever the result is will most likely be fair as against national elections. Not saying that INEC is not doing their job, but I don't know. There's that conversation that needs to be had with regards to transparency. Generally with our elections.
But you guys still get accused of rigging.
Once your favorite leaves, it was rigged. As long as your favorite didn't win, so.
Okay, speaking of rigging, Delishi says, please ask him if the rumors are true that he knew Mike before the show and also that he's managing Mike with his friends banking.
First part, yes, I knew Mike before the show, but that's anybody who knows me knows I love sports. I tweet about everything: rugby, football, athletics. So I remember seeing Mike's story. It was the Commonwealth Games, and there was this Nigerian who had just become British champion, and dumped the United Kingdom the next day, and said he wanted to be a Nigerian athlete. I mean, anybody who's Nigerian knows that. Are you?
That's crazy.
What are you smoking? Like, how is it doing? So I was just fascinated by who is this person, and I remember he went to the Commonwealth Games, and he still was not allowed to compete because his Nigerian papers hadn't been cleared by the IAAF. But he still wanted to compete for Nigeria, and I just found it very fascinating. So yes, I knew of him before the show.
But you know him personally?
I had met him once.
Okay.
Yes, but he wasn't. So there's a guy called Sheyi Ogunlewe. I don't know if you know him. He used to be the fastest man in Nigeria. He's also in athletics. So through him, I knew of Mike, and I met him because I love sports, and I was just really fascinated by his story. I mean, he lit a cigar when he became British champion. Who does that? But then that was it, and then I get the list of housemates who were going into the house, and I see him there. I didn't even know he flew in from the UK to come and audition. I'm just like, first of all, why would you spend that much money to come and audition for a show like this? I don't know.
Did you push for him to be a contestant?
No, why would I don't understand. I have no say in any of those things.
People are like, oh, Tools and Ebuka are friends. She's not gonna ask him certain questions. No, there you go. I have to ask.
I have no say, and I say this every season. I have no say. And you guys have had those housemates come in here. I don't know if you guys ever asked them what their audition stories are.
Yeah, they all say the same thing.
Every single person who gets into that house.
I don't think they even see you.
But they don't, because I'm not a part of it. And I can't do anything for you. I cannot do anything for you.
So even if I said next year, I really want to.
I cannot do anything for you. So it's so bad that even if I auditioned, I don't know if I'll get in. Because of, no, seriously.
Somebody also asked that if your wife was in the house, would she win?
If my wife was in the house, I don't think she would.
Why?
Because I think my wife speaks her mind too much. I don't know how that would come across. She's very blunt with her thoughts. So, I mean, I had no idea. The selection process is like 7 or 6 different stages. It's not even only Nigerians who go through the process with.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's 4 companies that run this thing. There's Endemol, there's MultiChoice, there's Deloitte, there's Red Pepper, the production company. So all of these people are part of this decision making. So one person cannot say, oh, this is my quota. Like, what's quota? What are you talking about quota? And like I said, they're looking for dynamics in the house.
So you can't even be like, as Ebuka, the host of the host of the last few series, this is my guy.
I put forward.
I wish I could.
No.
I wish I could, because I have plenty brothers and cousins that I would want to put in. I mean, if I had a quota, I'm sure it would be a family member that would be there, not somebody from the UK who was an athlete. So I had no say in it at all. But I thought it was fascinating to see someone who had done so well in athletics coming to do this. We've never had that kind of a housemate before. So it was quite interesting to see him do it, yeah. So, I mean, I knew him, but I probably started off as a fan of his sport.
Yeah.
That was how I knew him, yeah.
And now the second part, are you managing him along with your friend Banky?
I don't manage anybody. I'm being managed. I'm being managed. I'm a quote-unquote talent as well under the EME management. But yeah, so he's under Banky's management. Banky and Tunde.
Okay,
yeah,
did that have anything to do with you?
Well, he did come to me for advice. A couple of the housemates do come to me for advice with regards to management. There's some who also met with the management but have been joined other people. So I mean, it's not it's not a Mike thing.
What
There
do
are
you
other
think?
people who also were interviewed as well.
Sorry, what do you think about his wife and him becoming this duo, moving around together, getting the deals together, her kind of jumping in and riding on his Big Brother Naija fame?
I think it's interesting because people call her the 27th housemate, right? Like she was sort of a part of the show without being a part of the show.
Yes.
And I think Nigerians have sold the he was so faithful narrative for him without him even saying anything. He just went to the house and came out.
Do you
and
think
said,
that was a pretty big deal? Because lots of people, literally, some people,
Let's
that
be
is
honest.
why they love Mike.
Let's be
because he
honest.
was faithful.
I know there's people who say, he just did what he was supposed to do. But because of the history of people who've been on the show, and because it honestly could have gone left, it honestly could have gone left. I'm not saying he would have gone there and slept with anybody, but anything could have happened on a drunken night. Anything, because Big Brother, you just never know. So, I don't know if it's a big deal, but I think it's impressive. Because if he did wrong, we would have lambasted him. So he did well, why not commend him? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But, I mean, I don't know that it's a big deal, though. Because, I mean,
so
like they say, he did what he was supposed to do.
You were a contestant a few years back.
I was really young then, so.
Yeah. So do you think that, let's say, because I heard rumors that there might be a celebrity Big Brother. Let's just say they decide to flip the script and they decide to make you a housemate. Do you think that you could possibly be a victim to like a drunken night or something?
I would never be a housemate again, first of all.
You'd never?
Why not?
Because I was supposed to be a housemate again after I did in 2006, when they had the All-Stars.
Oh, yeah.
And I could have been one of the housemates from Nigeria, but I was... First of all, I was in the States then doing my master's, so it wasn't a good time. And secondly, it's one of those things I don't know if I wanted to do again. Because it's honestly mentally tasking. A lot of these housemates go through, I was going to speak French now, a lot of crap that people don't know. Because you're locked up for 3 months. You come out and you're really famous. It's a lot to take in. You're still trying to recover from all of the, just being locked down. And so it's very tasking on your brain and your mental state. So I don't think I would ever do it again. I don't know that I would. Maybe if money's really plenty. See how that really was. How long that really was.
It was heavy. How long?
Yeah. But if I went into the house, I don't think I would do anything crazy.
Yeah. Trust. Your wife will
I'm
burn
very,
the house down.
the one thing I pride myself is in self-control. Hopefully. I mean, not to praise myself.
People stop.
But yeah.
You just hear fire, fire, fire. Because wife don't burn the house. Okay, so this is from Pretty Random. Pretty Random says, ask Ebuka his favorite ship because he always seems to be blushing around Mercy and Ike.
Did I have a favorite ship? I had, Mercy and Ike were cool. Mercy and Ike were great content, right? Because every day you never know, they fought and made up every other day, right? So that was very interesting to watch. Diana Lelo was also very cute. Who else? Gedoni Kashi, Fraud Esther. Who was my favorite ship?
You must have had a favorite ship.
I'm trying to think.
Like, okay, the show's over now, so if, like, you know, Bam Bam and Teddy A, in a few months, you know, you see that there's a rumor that a couple is still together, they're getting married, who would you want that couple to be?
Well, I wish all of them well. I mean, why not all of them?
You can tell you're a lawyer.
Yeah,
yes.
And in fact,
the more the merrier. They should marry, but I don't know. I don't know, favorite. To be honest, like the Mercy and Ike one was great for TV.
Yeah. You don't
It was great television, right? So it's a couple that it was great to watch them because every day was a new thing. Did they play things up? Maybe. I mean, there were times that I felt like, come on, there's no fights here. People are just really whining us. You know, especially after their Saturday night parties, they had like a small quarrel. Then the next morning they're under the duvet. Like I thought people were fighting. So it was great television to watch. But like I said, Elo and Diane were also very cute.
Okay.
They also had their fights, but you could tell they were. Should we not? Should we not? It was constantly happening in that way. Gedeni and Kafi was also interesting.
Yeah.
In the fact that so many people had opinions about them. And you were just watching this thing happen without them knowing what was really happening around. You know, so I don't know.
Speaking
I don't know, honestly.
of Kafi and Gedoni, Kafi came here. We all thought that, you know, Kafi and Gedoni were going at it like rabbits. But Kafi came here and she said that they didn't have sex. You see the show, you see what production sees and everything. Did they?
I don't see what production sees.
Or you would know. Did they?
I don't know. They were under the cover. I mean, unless there was no camera inside the duvet.
Why do you put cameras inside the duvet?
We must do that next season.
Next season.
So if they say they didn't, we honestly have to take their word for it because it was covered. And if you see movements could be anything, right? So there's no way of knowing, to be honest. It is what it is. I don't know.
Do you think they did?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can't say that I know, because it could be anything. They said they didn't do it, right? They could have been doing anything else, and the movement would look like what was going on, but it wasn't.
Okay.
So I don't know.
All right. We're going to be speaking about your fashion sense in a second, but I always want to know, what did we not see? What was not shown? Like, were there any, like, you said sometimes people are victims of crazy, drunken nights or whatever. So did a couple, like, maybe get together and we didn't see it? Because obviously you can't show every single thing.
I don't know that anything that was fundamental to the show was not shown this time. Yeah, there will always be gossip that you won't catch, that maybe would have shifted the viewers sort of, I don't know, the dynamics for the viewers. Because we saw how NK was evicted because of Ludo. And it was something so small.
Yeah.
So maybe there were things that were not shown that might have been big, but we just don't know. Because you can't cover 26 people at the same time, unless you have 26 channels. Which is impossible. So maybe there were a few conversations that might have spun the game differently that we'll never know. But I don't think anything fundamental was not shown. I can't really think of anything fundamental.
Okay. All right. There's a question from our Twitter where somebody asked, do you think Tasha would have won if she wasn't disqualified?
It's possible. It's possible, but it's hard to say. Because we see the numbers, you guys see the percentages, right? And the numbers, to be honest, between Mercy and Tasha were really crazy, and it would have been a tough fight in the final week. So we never know. It's one of those we will never know things, right? Because it just never happened, and I don't know if it will ever happen again. But it's hard to say because the numbers for both of them were always crazy. With Tasha, it got crazier every time she was up. With Mercy, it was right from day one. The first time she was up, her numbers were ridiculous, and it stayed ridiculous. With Tasha, every time she was up, it got crazier. So maybe the finale she would have got even crazier, we don't know, but it's hard to say.
Do you also think that Mercy's popularity had a lot to do with, her figure?
I don't think it was just that. Because, right on stage, she already showed her body off, right? On stage. But on week one, I don't know that she was going to win by week one. Because, like I say, there were a lot of other people who people were looking at in the first week. Jeff was a huge favorite in the first week for the housemates and some of the viewers. There were people who seemed like they were a big deal already in the first week. I know that Mercy was an instant favorite, but maybe along the line. But I thought she was really entertaining. I think people connected with her, especially her relationship with Nikki. People liked that.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that was you're not gonna answer, but I'll answer. That was my favorite ship because the way that it reminded me of like young sort of late teens, early 20s love, where you're just like trying to find yourself. So I find it very funny. So in the first like sort of few weeks, did you have somebody that you thought, you know what, this person might just win it?
In the first few weeks, Tasha stood out definitely. Tasha definitely stood out. She seemed like a huge factor in the house. You could tell that the housemates were paying attention to her and the things she was saying and the way she carried herself and the fact that a lot of the housemates also knew her before the house because of her following on social media. And from the viewers, you could tell that this girl was strong. So Tasha definitely stood out for me. I thought Kathy was really strong at the start.
I like Kathy.
Yeah, she looked like she was going to be a favorite in the long run. Who else stood out? Omashala stood out very early as well. Omashala was really strong really early.
I think if they hadn't won,
Omashala might have.
Yeah,
it's
I
possible.
think so. I think so.
Omashala was really strong early as well. His diary session, the very first diary session in the season, which was in the second week, he became an instant favorite. Those three of them to an extent. Who else? I don't know that Mercy wasn't. I didn't see Mercy as a winner at the start. I didn't see Mike going that far. I didn't see Ford going that far. It doesn't mean that they were not strong people, but I just didn't see them being the one. Which is what is interesting about the show, because people just evolve.
You never expect it.
I legit thought that, first of all, I thought the people with the accents were going to be voted out first. All of them were going to be voted out first, and then because the launch night, Mike kept saying, my wife.
Yeah, like he's going next week.
The lady in front of me was like, we've heard, you have a wife. So I really thought, I was like, okay, you know what, he's a good looking guy, but he keeps on going on about his wife, that people are not going to vote for him, and there you go. All right, a few comments from our Twitter page. Bless Oehi says, please tell Ebuka to drop the professionalism and say everything with his chest.
which things does you want me to say?
Like who your favorite was, who your least favorite was. And this is, how do I say your name? I see Riwa Jr. says, please tools ask Ebuka why he removed his beard and has it grown back. And secondly says, Ebuka, can I have some of the native you wore on stage because I know you won't repeat them.
Please.
So my beard went out because I collaborated with a brand. I don't know if I can mention the brand name. Can I? No? Yes? No?
I mean, just give me the small change in your pocket.
Right? How about you take everything off on your face except your eyebrows? And I was like, okay, I haven't seen my chin in 13 years.
Ooh.
This is going to go bad. I could already see the memes on Twitter. So I'm like, okay, let's do this in 2 parts. I had a full beard. Let me take off the beard and leave the goatee for the finale. That's enough of a difference already. And then the day after the finale, everything comes off.
Was it worth it?
So it was a campaign with Gillette. I mean, it was okay. My bank account was alright.
It helped me
But
now.
it was...
Ebuka hated the fact that he had to take off his beard. He hates his face without beard.
But it's coming back. It's coming
I think it
back.
looks good, yeah.
All right, so to our lovely listeners, I'm sure you saw pictures. There's a video going around. Do you think Ebuka looked really bad without
Yes,
his beard?
they dragged me at the hedges.
Did they?
Yeah, because I presented at the hedges. They were like, Ebuka, no. They started calling me some names.
Don't mind them.
This is from Adeola Akapo. We need to run up very soon. Adeola says, please tell Ebuka to use transparent blankets next season because you can't keep guessing, assuming, and not see anything. Okay, so that's a suggestion.
You never know.
Yeah,
It could be something, or maybe there's even just no sheets anywhere.
There you go.
Imagine
that could be.
I feel that's like a human rights issue right there.
I feel so.
Who do you think is going to be the most successful?
So this season, I'm really happy with a lot of them. And in spite of all of the drama that's happened, the one thing I think I love about this season is how after the show there seems to be an understanding that they should all work together. You know, Mercy and Tasha had this huge fight that ended up disqualifying one of them. Everybody expected them to come out and be at each other's necks. They usually put out a video of them talking together, I think 3 or 4 days after the show ended. So whether they're playing for the cameras or not, I don't know, and I don't really care. I think what's important is these things are very good, especially for the fans. I mean, the fan wars go on as long as it looks like the housemates are fueling it.
The fan
and
wars
so
are
far,
ridiculous.
and so far the housemates are not fueling anything. So I really like that. I like the fact that a lot of them are also very business minded. If I'm going to make money with you, we can squash the beef, make this money. We don't have to be friends. And I like that in them. So I think a lot of them are going to do well. A lot of them are very business minded. A lot of them seem to know what they wanted before they even went into the house, which is always very key. So you're coming out not necessarily to look for things, but to follow what it is you plan to do. So I'm actually really rooting for a lot of them. I think a lot of them are going to do well. Even the ones you thought left too early, you'd be shocked because most of them have something to sell.
Yeah.
So
I'm
very excited about them.
The first two contestants, people did feel that it was the first two ladies, what they called?
Avala and Silomo.
So people did feel that they were evicted like unfairly because it was like
happened.
okay, coins. You
Yeah.
know. So do you see that? Do you agree with that? Do you think that they were evicted unfairly?
I don't know if unfair is the word, but I thought I was pretty harsh. I said that. I still feel that way. And it's not because I like Isilomo or because I think Avala is a really cool person. I just thought it was a harsh way to, just come on. They've not even finished unpacking their bags. But then again, the truth is, if you watch other territories of Big Brother, worse things happen. And it's crazy the sort of dynamics that play out. Big Brother Canada is one of my favorites. They do really crazy things. They evict you on a random Tuesday. The guy just comes in and says, pack. Like, it could be anything. So I think it's also, the good thing about that move for me was, it opens up the minds of the viewers here to expect anything. Because Big Brother literally can do anything. And the fact that we think we're in control as fans is not always true. Big Brother can literally say, you know what? In fact, the show is even ending now, 3 weeks early. And nothing can happen because he wants it to end that way. So I think that opened the minds of the viewers more. So next season they know that, okay, what's going to happen this time?
Yeah, prepare for anything.
So just prepare yourself.
Yeah, so is it really just down to the producers? They are the ones that decide what's going to happen.
I mean, the producer, you do your shows. You know what you need the power of the producer. The producers run the show.
I'm the producer.
or the production team, which is a bunch of people. And there's different. Big Brother has so many departments. There's so many parts of the show. There's a task department that's made up of about 20 or 30 people who do the tasks. And that's literally all they do. there's the sound department, there's engineering, there's the cleaners. Like everybody has a role to play. So there's so many parts to the show that you can't really say, okay, this is the person who makes things work, because anybody who screws up pulls everybody down. So there's so many moving parts to the show that it's a humongous production, and because it's live, everybody's on their feet 24/7.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I say this every time, and people don't understand, but I'm actually a very small part of the show because I literally work on Sundays. But there are people who are there 24/7,
watching everything,
and they do all the hard work,
including Big Brother.
Yeah.
Who is Big Brother? I mean, I know, but I need to ask you.
You should say, what is Big Brother? Because is it a human being? It's just a voice, isn't it? It's just a voice.
Is he a spirit?
It's an element.
Is
It's
he a
just a
spirit?
voice, isn't it?
So people are like, who is Big Brother, and when do they get to see his face?
I don't know how to answer that question because I also want to know. Haha.
Can you see the way I'm looking at you? Can you see the way I'm looking at you? All right, so very quickly, what was your favorite outfit?
That's a very hard question. But I'm going to be a little biased and pick the one I wore on my birthday. That was also a little tribalistic because it was an Igbo outfit. I really liked that. But I also liked what I wore in the finale. Not because I thought it was the most beautiful thing I've ever worn, but it was just different. So it honestly weighed over 9 kg. I don't know what anything. It was like literally a workout throughout that day as I was wearing it. My shoulder was just like, you know, when your shoulder is just naturally high because of the shoulder pads. So yeah, but I think honestly all the designers came through this season, and
Do you want to give a big shout out to them?
they really did push me. Maya Tafo, Tiva Bespoke, Deco of course was on point, Vanskere, Ugo Moye, you know, even those who dressed me on Mondays, Noble, there's so many people who did, and it's interesting to see that, okay, and I really like the fact that I worked on virtually every outfit I wore this season, okay, besides one. There was only one outfit this season that I didn't have a hand in at all. Most other ones, it was either completely my idea or something that I worked with the designer on. And it was nice to see these things come to life. And, you know, sometimes we go for shock value. Sometimes we just say, okay, let's just be interesting this week. There are times when we're just intentionally subtle. Was that not subtle?
Really. You had this season. You had a bit of a bondagey thing going on.
Yes.
And I hope you've seen. Wait, what?
It wasn't intentional.
I hope you've seen the different replications of some of your outfits. Some of them are just like, whoa.
But I mean, should I say imitation is the what?
Best form of
Best form of
flattery.
It's good.
But I'm just thankful because last season it looked like when they're measuring you'd be like, make the trousers tight.
Yeah, the trousers were a little loose. Just a little loose.
We were like, okay, you know what? Just release this for 1 inch, and leave it tight. Yeah.
There were no crazy things that went on.
There were no moments that, you know, a certain picture of you was trending. Alright, so we need to wrap things up. Ebuka, well done,
Thank you very much. I really honestly need to shout out the fans actually. In spite of everything that happened and all of the, you know, the drama that went on social media with cussing me out or whatever, I think honestly the reason why this show is this big is because of them. And it's because of that passion, that same passion that we seem to talk about a lot. They honestly drive this show. And every season, which is why every season we see the votes get even crazier. I swore almost on my life that we're not going to beat this last season's record with the votes. This season we did. And it's just like, these people really go all out for this show and for the housemates, and I think it's honestly commendable. And as much as people call it a distraction or, oh, it's immoral, whatever, I think the most important thing is people are engaged. And anybody who honestly watches the show knows that there's a lot more to the show than what people see on social media about immorality. There were so many tasks that people watched and learned from. Things about Nigeria, things about, you know, there was a one.org presented. There's so many things about the show that you actually learn about. And even just learning about human interaction, even if that's all you take away from the show, watching people live together and how they coexist, I think is brilliant to see. And so just shout out to the fans and everybody who worked on the show.
So do you think, there are a lot of people that are probably listening thinking that, okay, you know what, I really want to be in the house next season. I need to start, you know, putting together like my game plan and everything. Do you think, because I personally feel that some people go into the house and they think, you know what, I need to be controversial, and you don't have too many people actually that go into the house thinking, you know what, I'm just going to be like nice, I'm going to be a good person. Actually no, there are a few. Let me correct myself. There are a few, but I think that a lot of people are now going in thinking, you know what, I need to be controversial, I need to be this. So, do you think that actually does pay off? Do you think it's a good idea to have, you know, that sort of mentality?
So two things I always say. First of all, the moment you start going on a show like that, trying to be something, you failed. And I mean that honestly. There are people who I know it backfired on this season because I've had conversations with them and they told me, you know what, I thought this was going to be this and it didn't work out. So the moment you go into a show trying to be something, honestly, most times it doesn't work out for you. Secondly, I also talk about which is why whenever I advise the housemates at the end of every Sunday show, I always said, remember, what do you want to be remembered for after this show? Because a lot of these housemates, most people are not going to see them again after the show. So what they know of you is what they saw. What do you want to be remembered for? And I think that's the most important thing. Yes, controversial might get you votes, might get you popular, but is that really the narrative you want for yourself? It might work for you, but most times during the auditions, they see through it. A lot of the time. Yeah, one or two people might slip through, but most times they see through it. So don't go to the audition trying to be, too much. You know, maybe even tell one of the panelists, F you.
Shut up.
I mean, it doesn't work that way. They see through a lot of the BS sometimes. So just honestly, as very cliche as it sounds, be yourself. Which is why Big Brother is the way it is, because they're looking for people who are authentically themselves. You're authentically boring. No problems. You're authentically annoying. It's fine. But just be authentic, and that's all they're looking for.
Do you think that if you were a contestant, you'd win?
I don't think I would ever win. Because it was also one of the reasons why I never went back on the show, because I just really couldn't see myself winning. Because I'm also a huge loner, right? But the way I react to being around people in my spaces, I shut off. And they're just going to look at me, who's this one? Who do you see things? Why did he come here if he's not trying to have fun? So I'll be that guy who will be like, oh, let's go and have fun. I'll be like, I'm fine here.
So why did you go for the first one?
I was bored. I was a lawyer. I was bored. I really went for the money. The winning prize then was $100,000. I said, I was thinking of masters. I'll just win this money and go and do masters. There's plenty of money now. So I went in to win, because imagine how heartbroken I was. When I came out, I literally had no game plan. I didn't want to do entertainment. I just went to win the money. So it was not winning that made me do all of this now, which is why I'm here. I literally would have won that money and disappeared. That was the plan.
Well, look at you.
Yeah.
All right. So we need to wrap things up now because we've got the Fuse program coming up.
Yeah.
So very quickly, because there's a story that's trending on social media, and quite a few people have asked me this. They want to know about your relationship with the Pork Money Company.
Yeah. Well, I was a brand ambassador for the company, and as what everybody knows, being a brand ambassador means you're an employee of the company. So to the best of my knowledge, that's what I was. Yes, as a team, we did do our research. We asked a lot of questions about Pork Money. I don't know that there are many other companies that are tied to the brand, but to the best of my knowledge, we did our research with the company that we were supposed to work with. And everybody who I know put in money for the projects I worked on got their money back on time. So I don't know if anything else has happened. I don't know about employer relations, which is where most of the drama is coming from. Because I related mostly with management, so I don't know how the dynamics with employers will work. But I mean, we are still asking questions and just trying to find out exactly what's going on. But to the best of my knowledge, I did my job, which was to promote a certain sort of investment drive. And I know to the best of my knowledge, it has worked out properly. I don't know if anything else went wrong.
Okay.
But like I can't speak on the employer-employee sort of dynamics, which is where I think the main issue is. So I don't know.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for stopping by,
Thank you.
Ebuka.
Thanks for having me.
One of these days, we're going to give you a lot of booze before the interview.
To make it a little more interesting.
Yes. And I want you to be like, well, I'm not supposed to tell you, but...
But guess what?
Yes. You
All the tea.
Yeah. Okay, we have got the